welcome to the Shogun Bar. Welcome back to the Caribbean, John. Nice to see you again. As always, going to have a chat with a couple of our players, and as always, if you have a desire to ask a question, let me know and we will go ahead. But pleased to welcome Tim Molenaar and Olly Morgan. And I think first of all, I'm sure the assembled masses would like to know how your recoveries from injury are going. Tim, you've been out for a long time. How close are we to seeing you out on that patch of green?
Yeah, it has been a long time. Serious last year, I think. I've got a specialist on Tuesday, and he'll let me know if everything's going on track, and if it is, then sort of 2 weeks for me before I'm available, but I don't think they really need me at the moment. The boys are going pretty well.
I perhaps beg to differ. We need as many players as we can, I would have thought, in these hard times, but you had a pre-season. You then got injured without playing. You presumably having your second pre-season. Frustration must be building.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the usual pre-season 6 weeks. I think I've been injured for 14, going on 15. So that's a long time not running. So there was a bit of dust in the lungs. Started running about 2 weeks ago, but definitely frustrating. But you know, it's probably my first big injury, really. So it's one of those things. Really been lucky up till now.
We wish you a speedy return to the turf out there. Olly, you've missed Toulouse and missing today. Much of an injury?
Not anything. Not anything, no major. Just got a bit of calcification in my shoulder joint, which I'm on some sort of medication that hopefully will reduce that in size. So I'm hoping to be fit for next weekend against Leicester.
We look forward to your return. Big news recently, of course, is you've signed a new contract with Gloucester. Any thoughts while you were negotiating that of leaving?
No, that's one of the reasons why it was done quite quickly. I'm mentioned before, I'm very settled here. It's my 8th season, so it's it almost seems like a family to me. I'm very happy with the way the club's gone in the years that I've been here, the way they play, and it wasn't really a decision to be made. It was just a question of speaking with John and Brian and sitting down and I think for them it was the fact that I had to play the first kind of 6 to 8 games to make sure that my shoulder had come through and been right. And, thankfully, I've been relatively fit at the start of the season, so no, it was an easy decision for me.
One of the decisions that you must go through, though, is how you see Gloucester perform in the future. Clearly, you feel that we've got a squad that's developing to start delivering perhaps the championship, the Premiership eventually.
Yeah, definitely. I've been through a lot of high and lows with Gloucester, and I think for especially the last 2 years, we've had a squad that's been together and gone through a lot. The highs of winning last year, the lows of losing in the semi-final. So I think we're definitely stronger from that. This season, I can say the media are probably writing us off as they did last year. And I think for the way things have gone so far, we're still in a good position. There's a long way to go. We'll get people like Tim and Ellie hopefully back, which will only strengthen the squad. So I think looking in the future and stuff, we've achieved a lot over the years, and for me, I'm happy with the way things have gone, and I'm very settled now. So.
Good. Well, I'm sure everyone is absolutely delighted you've re-signed anyway. Tim, I'm guessing here, but I'm assuming you're coming to the end of a contract. Your first period here under contract, generally enjoyed it?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it actually. Obviously, it was my breakthrough out of the championship, and first club I came to, and there was we're under a lot of pressure. I think the first year that I was here, but like Olly said, everybody stayed together. They've kept the same team, and we've really, the team's come out of it. Support is massive. I mean, I've never seen the likes of it in England, so it's just, yeah, it's an amazing experience to be playing for Gloucester.
I
think we've enjoyed you too. You're our sort of player. Can I talk about rugby then? And I'll stay with you, Tim. Last week we were in Toulouse. 6 days to digest that match. Would the feeling be it was 1 point gained or perhaps 3 points lost? I ask easy questions.
I mean, to come out of it with a point is a massive gain, to be fair. I mean, going over there and actually getting a bonus point. But for us, we expect to win those games, especially in the position that we put ourselves in. And you know, it's a habit we need to get into. We have come into games this year and we've won the majority. We've been ahead, you know, through the whole game, and then it's finishing off these last 5-10 minutes that we need to sort out, and you know, experience will get through that. But I think that's our final hurdle. You know, we're definitely capable of competing with the best in Europe, and that was proof of that. I think we dominated that game. Just finishing them off is the key, really.
Yeah, Olly, it was almost a Saracens rerun, wasn't it? But there we were, looking a few minutes to go that we're going to win, and then we managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, I think, you know, on a positive side of things, some of the games this season, you know, Leicester and Quins, where we were beaten quite convincingly, you kind of come away from that, you're embarrassed in some respect, but also, you know, you've got opportunities to improve. And Saracens especially, and Toulouse, we felt that we lost a game rather than the opposition won it. So, you know, there are little things like discipline, little things like, you know, field position, you know, exiting correctly and stuff, which we let ourselves down. And I'd like to think that, you know, if we put this into sort of business end of the season, we would have learned from those mistakes and potentially, you know, come on the other side of the win. So hopefully today, you know, I'm sure it will be a close, tense game, but we'll make those decisions, that discipline, exiting correctly, and you know, field position being a key part of the game, doing those to the best of our ability and winning.
A little bit has been made about the short turnaround period between Toulouse and here. Now you came, or at least the lads who played last week, I don't know if you were in Toulouse or not, but flew back on Monday. Can you tell us what happens between Monday and today in so much as days rest and training? Are there days off, or is it straight back to training?
Well, there has to be some sort of rest, obviously, with that short turnaround. The sort of the travelling side of things was obviously a very long time for the guys out in Toulouse. So Monday was very much a bit of recovery in the swimming pool and on the cycler. And then Tuesday was quite a light session, just running through our attack plays. Wednesday was, you could bring it up a bit because you've had a couple of days rest, and then gradually building towards the game on Saturday. So guys are used to it over the years. You know, you get Friday games to Sunday games, which is a long turnaround. You get Sunday games to Friday. So players are used to it, coaches are used to it, and it's just you know, keeping bodies fresh, really.
So Tim, I'm sure that microphone works somewhere, but no. So Tim, Saturday match day has come around. Harlequins are here. It's a well-worn saying, but in the Heineken Cup you win your home matches and get what you can away from home. It really is a must-win match today then, isn't it? Otherwise we're going to go the way of Northampton and London Irish, hanging by a thread to stay in the competition.
Yeah, there's not many second chances in the Heineken Cup. Like you say, it is a must-win at Kingsholm. We played our best, got the best support, and you know, we can't afford to slip. We owe Harlequins. They're on a 10-11 game winning streak, same as what we were on reverse last year, and you know, we were a little bit embarrassed there at the Stoop. So hopefully this time we can sort of get a bit of payback on that, as well as go ahead and you know, another step towards winning the Heineken.
Olly alluded to having lost to Harlequins earlier in the season. It was a pretty poor performance from Gloucester, quite honestly, I'm sure you'd agree. Does that have any bearing at all on today's match, or is with the change of personnel, etc., this is just a new match?
As far as belief goes, it has no change really. I mean, we know we let ourselves down rather than they outplayed us, and more than anything, determination. To beat these guys is going to be better than ever. Nobody likes to get beaten by that amount of points, and I think that's been twice. We've gone down there and had the same sort of score, so we owe them big time. And hopefully, I'm pretty sure the boys will be going into this game with a mindset to really get stuck in.
We'll go back to Olly, give you a rest. Olly, we're all into the second week of the Heineken, and we're seeing some very close results. We're seeing teams like Edinburgh topping groups, etc. The Heineken is becoming more and more competitive, and on the pitch, the intensity, both mental and physical, is on the rise, apparently, for people like myself watching. With the start of the Premiership again next week, do you have to rotate the team, or can you play 5 or 6 matches of this intensity straight off the reel?
I think that's very much dependent on the squad size. Gloucester over the years has had a large one, but especially recently we've reduced the size. So especially last year there was probably a familiarity with a lot of the players that were playing. Likewise this year. So as long as guys are fit and their bodies are in good nick, then I think it's important to keep that continuity. There are times where you'll need to put players in and keep guys fresh in the mind. But the last 3 weeks especially, we've had some good performances. Even though the results haven't gone our way, they've been encouraging. So changing that up can be quite difficult. The bigger teams like your Leicesters, your Saracens, sometimes it's a good thing that they have a large squad because guys are fresh. But then in hindsight, it can cause that inconsistency. So I think going into the Premiership next week, depending on the performance today and guys coming back, there may be some changes, but I think it's important you keep that core the same throughout.
Where does the Heineken stand in most players' views? Is the Premiership more important, or the Heineken, is that the top competition? Do you have views on things like that, or do you just want to win the lot?
Well, I think obviously you want to win the lot, but I think we all know that the Heineken Cup is the equivalent to like the Champions League in football. If you win that, you're classed as the best team in Europe. So there is that magnitude of you're against teams from all over Europe. So that's probably as a player the ultimate. But then you're playing the Premiership year in, year out, whereas you're not doing that necessarily in the Heineken Cup. So I think for goal setting that we did at the start of the season, it was right that we wanted to win every competition that we're entered in. For me personally, I'd always want to win the Premiership. We've got great opportunities to do that. Heineken Cup is very much dependent on obviously draws, how hard your group is. But for me as well, we're in a very group, but at the same time it's a group that we feel that we can win. So I think it works both ways really.
Right, I didn't invite anyone to ask a question. Anyone wish to do so, or am I going to get my normal, everyone looks at the floor and wonders what's going to happen next?
I got one for you.
Good, so just take it on the mic and then everyone can hear.
Given that Martin Johnson, just broadening it out slightly, Martin Johnson has given up the post. I think personally Rob Andrews should have gone as well. I'd like to know what the guys feel, and Graham Henry's touting himself around. What do the guys think about the, Dean's been mentioned as well as a potential, and Alan as well. So, what do you think? Molenaar as well. So, what do you think, guys?
I think, there is obviously a lot of speculation for the job. It's probably one of the most talked about and I think high profile because, the RFU is probably one of the most wealthiest governing bodies. So I'd personally like to see an English coach go for the role. I think where Martin Johnson, obviously, being the player that he was, it's been talked about that he wasn't as a qualified coach or from a managerial point of view as well. At that level, you have a lot of coaches underneath, like your backs coach, your forwards coach, your kicking coach. So there's a lot of support there. So I think that's vital as well going forward, that whoever takes the position as head coach has an assistant coaches that are very, very good as well. So Jim Malander for me is obviously I've worked under from England under 21s, so I feel that he's probably at this moment in time probably number one running candidate for it. I'm not sure Graham Henry, having read the press recently, whether he wants to do it. So fingers crossed that we'll get an Englishman.
Can we have a Southern Hemisphere view on the England situation?
You have to go with the best qualified, don't you? I don't know who won the World Cup, but I think Graham Henry is probably up there.
Yeah, I don't remember who won the World Cup either. But thanks for your question. Anyone else? Let me just wrap up with you then, Tim. You may have noticed, even though you're not playing, that we seem to have, over 4 or 5 week period, every kick-off time you can think of. We're off at 1:30, 2:15, 4 o'clock, 3:40. Does kick-off time make any difference to you guys in the build-up, etc.?
I think within an hour or so either side, as long as it's sort of between 2 and 5, it doesn't make that much difference. Your preparation, you might have to be an hour earlier. That's about all. I mean, obviously night games, Friday night games, things like that, away from home can be a bit of an issue because you're waiting around the hotel perhaps, or travelling a lot, and then that can throw you a little bit playing late at night. But within that period in the afternoon, it doesn't make too much difference.
Well, guys, as always, you've been good value. Thanks for taking the questions. Good luck with the injury situation. We want both of you on the pitch as soon as possible. I thank Tim Molenaar and Olly Morgan. Thank you.